be upon you all, and may you be in good health. This week, one of the best fighting games in history was released. This is the 8th version of the Tekken series, which from the very first day achieved great success and received high ratings everywhere, in addition to receiving the Masterclass mark. You have to play it, and since you have to, I will teach you the basics of the game in this clip. Whether you know Tekken or not, this clip will give you the reminder to enter the game and understand it will be used. Fighting in general. First off, the game design. You should know that the Tekken game, or the series in general, stands out for its 3D system. Completely different from most of the famous games. They are 2D fighting. And sure, as a player in Tekken can take a turn and move in the fighting field. Because you're talking about 3D, you can go up or down. But you'll see the player can turn on the character. Of course, this rep is not just a shape, but it completely changes the game mechanics. You can benefit from it by avoiding some attacks or tricking the lines, or you use it in certain ways, whether defensively or offensively. The 3D game has the complete environment, you move in it comfortably. Keep this thing in mind. Secondly, the characters of Tekken game, there are 32 playable characters from the beginning. Surely every one of you relates to a character, depending on the stage, whether it's for the person's appearance or any character. But the most important thing is the game, because each character will have a different personality from the second. And this difference is very fun, because every time you try a character, you feel like you're playing a different game. But the important thing between these characters, and what made Tekken a successful game, is the confrontation or balance between characters. Means there is no character stronger than the other. The matter returns to the player. The important thing is try to find a character that suits you. Certainly there are difficult characters, but that doesn't prevent you from exploring and seeing the least character. And you start to learn about it, love it more, and enjoy. But even if you loved a particular character, I always advise you to explore and try out the other characters. Thirdly, control. For fighting games, the first thing, the basic lesson, is the basic buttons found in the controller. For example, a PlayStation controller in Tekken. Consider this the character's body, meaning this is a hand and this is a hand and a foot and a foot. When you press square, you will punch with the character's left hand, but the triangle will be a punch with the left hand. The same thing, the X is for the left foot and the circle for the left foot. And this thing applies to all characters, but imagine that it is possible to press these buttons with arrows to change moves or do different things. Moreover, when you shape the buttons or change between them or press them sequentially with arrows or without, you can bring up moves or create different combos. In addition, any atom with a strong arrow orientation will get you a strong hit, meaning that the defense or arrows are a boost for these arrows. The basic buttons. Also known things in Tekken, for example, if you press square and cross, you will have a grip to hold the person. And what will benefit you in many situations in the game? The same thing. The triangle and the circle will be a grip, but in a different way. All Tekken players consider these grips as something essential in the game. Also, it's a basic in Tekken that your levels in striking almost divides into 3 sections. First, you will have the high strike or the high, which is always characterized by speed. Secondly, the strikes of the tide or the average. These strikes are slower than the high ones, but they are usually more effective in addition that they mostly hit last, the low or the bottom strikes. And what's great is that it saves you from situations, or makes the game, like I mentioned, that you will have a high hit, mid hit, low hit. Another thing you need to know in Tekken is the defense, which is also as important. In short, if you're not touching the D-pad or arrows, the character automatically blocks hits. But as soon as you move forward or press a certain button, you will continue this manufacturing. Of course, the same thing, the defense will have 3 levels. You have the high, the mid, and the low, depending on the arrow direction. Or if you press backward, you will defend against the strike. And if you improve in the game, you can make moves like the lob. And the famous in Tekken, that stops some moves, I mean not just that you defend. In fact, you increase the game movement, and these movements require a bit of courage from you because you are going to press forward. So there will be a risk or hazard that you do not press. Subscribe to the channel. And you can hit it in a scary way. It's one of the defensive techniques in Tekken that you have at your disposal. In addition, let's not forget that I told you the game is 3D, so you can dodge sideways. Sometimes you get a strike and you can avoid it with just a movement without defense. And by the way, Tekken also has a kind of jump. You can jump with a certain strike, giving a blow in the air. And you can benefit from it when an enemy hits you from below, so you jump in the air and hit him. One of the basic and professional things in your Tekken atmospheres, and one of the known things. In general, in Tekken system, it is about lifting the opponent in the air. When you lift the opponent, it is known in the Tekken series that you are gone because a hit will come after the lift. This indicates that Tekken is a strategic or tactical game. Players are always blocking each other, but as soon as you lift the enemy in the air, you're good. It's impossible to block, and you start to unleash combos or moves. We always see the competition between players trying to lift each other, because when he lifts you in the air, he starts to form a long combo on you and takes the most possible damage. For the lift, all characters all characters in Tekken have a stroke that lifts the opponent very slowly, some with a single button press. The important thing is when you lift the opponent here, he will be in the air. Here you take advantage and try to continue with certain combos, as if you're learning with a character from the combo list, or you're always trying to progress with ease. And you press buttons randomly to hit him twice or 3 times, but surely if you learn, you can reach them up to 8 or 9 times. So the matter is that you lift the opponent in the air. This is one of the basics of Tekken and who falls in the air. And your weight on him is gravity. It will drop the discount in the press. Try always to raise and not let it drop as much as the press. In addition, if you reach the walls, the wall itself will help you to blend or fix your character and give more and more hits on the wall. Sixthly, one of the basic things in Tekken that follows everything we said is the topic of combos. Combos are a series of consecutive moves. Sure, the game has certain moves, but people can get creative, mix up the moves and make combos. So here comes the role of creativity and professionalism. If you have mastered the game in all what we have mentioned before, now you can make combos for it. You may enter the training and press on the challenges and it will show you one combo after another and you start applying them and doing them until you memorize them. And then you benefit a lot from them. I will be in a short combo lineup and some of them are long and some of them are almost infinite, so on this side it does not benefit you much. You learn by yourself and enter the training and train on the Corona, and along the combos there will also be counter attacks, which is considered a strong additional hit. If you control your camera, you'll stumble the opponent and it's a great opportunity to start the game. Again, I tell you, the topic of combos requires that you go into training and learn them at your leisure. Seventhly, currently everything we mentioned are basics of Tekken or the basic style, but now we talk about Tekken 8 and the new things in it. What are the updates in Tekken 8 and the most important matters that make the game different in addition to helping new players to get into the game and learn? You enjoy it more. The first basic addition in Tekken 8. This system gives the player the ability to use a tactical attack and merging the moves in the style of each character. And by the way, each character has certain attacks in the heat system as well as the combos when you do them and raise the opponent in the air as we mentioned. You can complete it with the heat system moves and excel more in it. For example, notice this combo when I don't do it will be already finished at a certain point. But imagine if I make the same combo, then finish it using the heat system and you will see strong hits. For example, make the combo then use part of the hits, then give it the heat system that follows. For example, use the same combo, use the heat system twice and give a very powerful merger whether you merge the enemy or give you more enthusiasm in the game. And to activate this system, of course, the professionals will use certain buttons to activate it, but the suite in Tekken, they made the subject very easy so that if you press Aeron, you will activate the heat sun. After you activate the system, you will have 2 options. The first is the heat dash or the heat smash. You have about 15 seconds to use any of them. You will have the blue bar. If you activated the heat system, it will decrease and you try to complete combos or use these energies directly. Or for example, use the heat system as soon as you turn on the feature. Use it over and over again and take the whole attack. So, the matter goes back to you and the heat system if you want to use it at the moment or leave it for later or use it during the combo and get a larger merge. Currently, anyone of you grabs the controller and starts using the heat system will enjoy its fun and simplicity, in addition to the mix that can be done. But an important information to put in your mind is that even the movements of the hit system, the opponent might be able to resist it, so always try to use it at the right time or lift the enemy in the air and then use hit moves on him. Likewise, this system can be used to boost your energy if you need it, like for instance if you have little energy left. You can then activate the feature and try to block or hit the player to slightly refill your health, and it can save you in some situations.
There you go.
Of course, the heat system has depth and has different methods and varies between characters. It's hard to explain in detail, but keep in mind that it has depth. With training and practice and playing, you will discover your own methods and use in the heat scissors. It can dazzle the players, plus you can use it. Some moves dismantle the enemy, whether it's blocking, hitting or breaking the combo, and you strike the opponent and desert, because you'll have the heat engager, which gives you a boost. and why special moves for characters, in addition to the hit dash if you hit the enemy and then give him a front run to continue with him, and so on and so forth with the full use of the heat system. Okay, now we're going to talk about the special movement, because we haven't finished with the creativity in Tekken 8 game movements. There will be a special movement, or what they call a special style. He says the knockout. This knockout is what a player gets when he gets skinned. So when the player's health is low, you will see fire burning on the health bar, which means that you have a special move currently, and it's used by pressing R2. But the hard thing about it is the timing of when to use them, because the opponent can collide. The point is, if you manage to hit the player with this move, and usually when he's pushing in your direction, press the button. If you hold this move, there will be a great merge, in addition to having a cinematic scene or a special movement for the chapter. And during this scene, you'll likely feel a real excitement because it's intense, but it's gonna get pressured. The second thing is that it could be a break period for both parties, and the third thing for sure is that it could overturn the values and be you have demolished a very high and still have a few strikes to finish it off if you haven't used it yet, and he had low health and turned the victory still. So the knockout punch in Tekken 8 is really an exciting thing. But now let's talk about the last detail, which is why it is directed to everyone, talking about those who play it for the first time in their lives, or adults or young people, or even the ground, or even people who never played games before, because Tekken 8 introduces a new system which is shortcuts or facilitation. As soon as you press the 1, these buttons will appear on the screen and of course will be fixed. Your opponent will know that you are using this system currently. A very simple thing, as soon as you see the moves written in front of you, just press the buttons. For example, pressing the square will result in a special move, or pressing triangles continuously will perform the difficult combos. The players have been practicing for a long time. In addition to the substitute, it can be a strong lower hit, or the X, computer breaking hits. So you will have this list used quickly, or even if not seen it, for example, children or people who do not know what's the matter. As soon as they press the buttons, they can create art, enjoy the game, and they'll have the heat or rage all listed in the same menu. The facilitation system, or the shortcut system you see, is going to make more players enjoy the game. And personally, I tell you, we tried it on the weekend with people playing for the first time and people who have been playing for years. Everyone, but I love to mention, the professional is always a professional. And even with this system, it is difficult for you to win on him. Of course, this system, if you remove it, press 1 and disappears.